This year marks the 25th anniversary of White Cube, and we wanted to mark the occasion by having an exhibition that includes works by the artists that we currently work with, but through the lens of memory. We thought that might be a good way to kind of draw quite an eclectic range of artists together. And so we've used this framework to explore ideas of the self, of autobiography, of historical narratives, of subconscious sensory perception. And so in doing this, we've brought together about 100 works that we've ranged across both sites in Mason's Yard in Bermondsey, drawn together with an architectural framework that's been devised by the architectural practice VPPR as a way to kind of unify all the exhibitions. We thought of using memory as the basis because it's a good vehicle. Memory kind of defines us, and art has a great way of exploring a lot of these ideas. When we were looking at the range of works that we got, they fell into these 6 broad themes. The first is historical, which is based in Mason's Yard.
An important theme of this section is the idea that the official record, the memory set down in the official record of history, is in fact the narrative of the prevailing power. And one of art's important abilities is in recovering the voices, the narratives that may have been erased or forgotten by history. There are 2 works juxtaposed here by Theaster Gates, each drawing on one of the collections or archives that he has collected. They Wore Black on the Inside is one of thousands of images drawn from the archive of the Johnson Publishing Company, which is an African-American owned publishing company from Theaster Gates's native Chicago. And this is a resource that he's mined for his recent Black Madonna project. So here these images which offer an archive, a kind of social and cultural history of Black America, are revived and remembered and given a fresh life. In the earlier work, Self-Cleaning Stack, we see an article drawn from the Edward J. Williams collection of what he calls Negrobilia, an ugly racial stereotype, the mammy, which is a reminder of our too recent racist history, which we might prefer to forget. Sometimes the history, the memory in the work is somehow lurking unseen. Julie Meritou makes abstract paintings, but she's investigating how the abstract can be charged with the political. The starting point for these images are tracings taken from news coverage of conflict and disaster, independence rallies in Catalonia, violence at anti-racist demonstrations in Charlottesville, conflict in Syria. So those images are a ghostly background presence. To Ibrahim Mahama, history, memory is carried in the very fibers of the jute sacks that he makes his material. The sacks are made in Southeast Asia, traded to Ghana, used by the Ghanaian cocoa board, and then repurposed for charcoal, firewood, a myriad of domestic uses. So to him, the sacks tell the story of global transaction capitalist structures of his country and carry the inherent failure and collapse of those systems.
In the autobiographical section, we look at sort of identity, and it features works by artists who've used their sort of personal narratives, their personal memories in their art, be it Ethel Adnan, whose memories of her beloved Mount Tamalpais in San Francisco she's repeatedly returned to despite having left it 20 years ago. And she's explored that through her small paintings. Or to Tracy Emin, who's constantly been mining her sort of personal narrative in excoriating detail. So we have some works, some paintings by Tracy as well. Also, we feature the first ever film by Gilbert and George, The Nature of Our Looking from 1970, in which the artists present themselves as a living tableau, which they've continued through their subsequent 50 years working together. In the collective section, we move away from individual narratives to looking at memories that are shared through our material culture. So a lot of the works are featuring artists who use found materials, be it Heim Steinbach with his objects that he ranges on shelves, and we all have different associations with those individual objects, to Beatrice Miliazes, who uses candy wrappers or shopping bags in her collages, or Jack Lerner's extraordinary work Altogether Now, which features leaflets that she picked up when she was doing a residency in the city of Oxford in 1991, and that acts as a kind of time capsule. We also have items that point to our memories of childhood, be it through Damien Ortega's balsa wood plane, which he scaled up and suspended mid-air.
Of course, memory is a rich theme. Memory is what defines us, both on a personal, individual level and on a societal, historical level. And art is intimately caught up with memory. Art is a means of recording personal memories. Art can embody a memory through a print or an impression, or by reusing materials that have a past life. Art can be a repository of a sort of external, shared, collective memory. And art can help us to recover or revisit or even contest historical memories.